Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to my channel. So let's start the today fanfiction story. What if Naruto had Law of Devil? Chapter 1, Ikashi Yu. The autumn wind passes through, and leaves fall into the sea. The evening's fiery clouds dye the sky of Konoha red. This village of ninjas, the most powerful in the ninja world, is portrayed as exceptionally tranquil. A child with hair as pale as moonlight stands alone, eyes closed, in a simple training ground, facing 6 targets around him. Swoosh. He carefully recalls Uchiha attaches shuriken skills from his memory. Suddenly, the white-haired child opens his eyes and raises his hands. Between the fingers of his young hands, he already holds 3 sharp kunai. Then, he leaps high from the ground. His undeveloped body stretches as much as possible in midair. The 6 kunai in his hand transform into streams of black light, instantly shooting toward the 6 targets surrounding him. Ding ding. 2 crisp crashes echo in the air. 2 of the kunai arrive first, striking the 4 kunai in front and creating several changing trajectories. Ding ding dang. In the end, all 6 kunai hit their targets accurately without exception. Perfect. For a child who appears to be only 4 or 5 years old, such shuriken skills are undeniably impressive. What's the point of practicing shuriken so well? At such a young age, he displays such exquisite shuriken skills. However, the child sighs and sits down on the ground, wearing a look of frustration. No Sharingan, no Byakugan, let alone Rinnegan and Reincarnation I don't even have a decent bloodline limit. Gazing down at his tender little hands, the child can't help but look up to the sky and sigh. What can I do? I'm desperate too. This child is 5 years old this year. In this life, his name is Ikashi Yu. He was a war orphan picked up by the ninjas of Konoha's medical team from the battlefield of the Battle of Mount Kikayo. No parents, no name, no country. It wasn't until he was classified as a war orphan by Konoha and entrusted to the care of Yakashi Nano, the director of Konoha Orphanage, that he received the name Yakashi Yu. Yakashi Yu, a time traveler, knows that the world of Naruto before him is a world that places great emphasis on bloodline. In ancient times, the bloodline of Kaguya Otsutsuki, the ancestor of chakra, and the sacred tree directly gave rise to all the abilities and ninjutsu in today's world. Yu is well aware that in the future ninja world, everything will revolve around Sharingan, Samsara I, and Reincarnation I, powerful bloodlines capable of world-altering feats. Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, Kato Matsukami, Izanagi, Susanoo, Shinra Tensei, Golden Wheel Reincarnation Blast. Whenever he thinks about the world before him in its middle and later stages, with skills so powerful that they are unbelievable, Yu feels profoundly powerless. I have no bloodline limits. In a world where geniuses abound and there are as many cheats as there are dogs, what can I achieve? As he contemplates the future development of the ninja world before him, Yu increasingly feels that his future is bleak, and a bitter smile appears at the corner of his mouth. No, even if I had a bloodline limit, if it weren't for Kaguya Otsutsuki's direct bloodline, I would, at best, be a higher-level cannon fodder. After all, Yu is familiar with the plot development of the Naruto world. Without relying on the blood passed down by the Otsutsuki clan and the sacred tree, no matter how strong ordinary humans are, they can only reach the level of Kage from the 5 major ninja villages. Why can Uchiha Madara look down on the world and dominate the ninja world? Why can Senju Hashirama pacify the warring states period and end the era of conflict? Why can Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke achieve seemingly endless feats? It's all because all 4 of them are the reincarnations of Indra and Asura, the biological sons of Otsutsuki Hagoromo, the sage of 6 paths, and they come with the protagonist's halo. So, in this ninja world, no matter how talented others are and how hard they work, they cannot compete with them. In Yu's eyes, the reality of this world is so cruel. Forget it, don't think about it so much. If I don't practice diligently without external aids, I might have perished in this war before the plot even begins. After pondering for a while, Yu, whose mind had been consumed by negative emotions, shakes his head vigorously. Standing up from the ground once again, the fire of fighting spirit begins to burn in his eyes. There is no end to the path. At worst, I'll learn from the future guy. Work hard to master the 8 gates formation. Even if it means burning my life, I won't become a mere extra. Do you desire power? Just as Yu stands up and plans to continue practicing diligently, a strange voice suddenly resonates in his mind without warning. It's both enchanting and charming, and Yu doesn't know how to describe such a voice. But it disregards all barriers and penetrates directly into the depths of his mind and soul. No, I long for milk. Upon suddenly hearing this strange and enchanting voice, Yu almost blurts it out reflexively. Weird. Is it because I'm too tired from practicing and experiencing hallucinations? But after reacting, Yu looks around warily, surveying the windy and desolate woods around him. Yu extends his hand and scratches the back of his head with a blank expression on his face. Apart from himself, there's no sign of anyone nearby. Do you desire power? Just as Yu thinks he might be hallucinating. The enchanting voice resounds once again, deep within Yu's soul. Who is it? Stop lurking. Come out. Hearing this strange voice once more, several sharp shurikens suddenly appear in Yu's young hands, as if by magic, and he surveys his surroundings with a vigilant expression on his young face. In this ninja world full of death, especially in the current era of war, these most basic ninja skills have already become second nature to Yu, who has been practicing for a year. Yo. At such a young age, you already have the posture of a ninja. It seems like one can see Yu's vigilant demeanor all over him at this moment. Only the exceptionally enchanting voice continues to echo deep within Yu's soul, like a lingering ghost, even though you have no external aids. But you have a handsome face. The enchanting voice is like gentle hands caressing Yu's cheek. Indeed, in this life, although God did not bestow upon him a powerful bloodline limit, it gave him good looks, with hair as white as moonlight, a fair and handsome little face more delicate than a girl's, and a pair of large amber eyes resembling magnificent gems. Even in the village of Kano, Yu is the most popular little Shota among the young girls and Obasan. However, with the soul of an older man, he often finds himself being pinched by those young girls and Obasan, and Yu's heart almost collapses. Now we move to Chapter 2, Thread Fruit. What's the use of a pretty face? I want power. Do you understand? Listening to the voice of this stranger, there seemed to be a hint of playfulness in the tone. Originally, Yu was wondering if he had fallen under a genjutsu, but suddenly he began to feel agitated. In this ninja world, if you don't have power, you're worse than a piece of dog poop. Do you understand? Since arriving in this world, Yu, who knew the future plot development, didn't dare to neglect his training for a moment. After being brought back to Konoha from the battle at the Valley of the End, Yu spent a year of effort. He finally succeeded in extracting physical energy and spiritual energy for fusion, and began the path of chakra training. However, due to his young age, although he could successfully extract chakra, his chakra level never reached that of a genin due to physical limitations. The third great ninja war had just begun, and the future held the 6 paths of pain, who would single-handedly destroy the entire Konoha, and the fourth great ninja war, which would determine the world's ultimate existence or non-existence. Facing these events that had already occurred and were yet to come, Yu had been suppressing his emotions for too long since coming to this world. Of course, I understand, but this isn't genjutsu, and you don't need to look for it. Feeling Yu's nearly explosive emotions at this moment, the seductive voice began to sound lazier. I've been hiding in the depths of your soul, and it's your desire for power that awakened me. My soul's depths. No wonder your voice doesn't sound like it's from the outside. I thought I was under a genjutsu just now. Listening silently to the voice coming from the depths of his own soul, Yu's amber eyes gradually narrowed, and his thoughts began to activate. So, what are you exactly? What can you give me? I am a demon. Feeling Yu's intense desire for power within him, the voice, like poppy seeds, lightly paused, as if it was about to drag him into an eternal abyss. As long as you give me your soul, I can give you the power to control everything. Demon, tusk, quite cliché. Subconsciously, after making this comment, Yu clenched his tender fist, and his eyes shimmered with a deep desire for power. You want my soul? Right. Take it. As long as you give me enough power to dominate this world. Take it all. Since coming to this world of blood and iron, Yu's desire to become stronger had been as strong as a drowning person's desire to breathe. Very well. Seeing Yu's unwavering agreement to the deal, the demon deep within Yu's soul nodded in satisfaction. Then I will give you the Devil's Law. Devil's Law? What's that? Listening to the words of the demon within his soul, Yu suddenly felt a completely unfamiliar power surging into his body. This unfamiliar power was entirely different from the chakra he was currently cultivating. Yu felt as if his whole body had been completely remade, and his body began to undergo a profound transformation. What is this? My body seems different from just now. Somewhat amazed, Yu looked at his hands and body. He felt like he had become different from before, but he couldn't pinpoint exactly how. It seems your luck is not bad. You actually drew the law of thread fruit. At this moment, the demon inside Yu's soul started to become excited. Thread fruit. Yu's face froze as he suddenly remembered the ability of Donquixote Doflamingo, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, from One Piece, the Paramecia-type string fruit. Yu finally understood what was happening. What Devil's Law? This is the ability of a devil fruit, isn't it? Essentially, there's not much difference between the two. Although I'm a demon, without a physical body now, I can't directly produce a devil fruit for you. Faced with Yu's ecstatic expression, the demon inside him seemed to be smiling. So I'm giving you the power of the devil fruit in the form of a law. Keep in mind, this is a purer form of power than a devil fruit. At least, you won't be afraid of the sea because it abandoned you, just like a devil fruit user. Not afraid of the sea because of the devil fruit. Hearing the demon's words, Yu's face suddenly went blank. Does that mean that this so-called devil's law is even stronger than a devil fruit? That sounds good. After coming back to his senses, Yu nodded in satisfaction, rubbing his smooth chin. In that case, I don't have to taste the rumored disgusting taste of devil fruits. Not only that, feeling Yu's excitement that he couldn't contain at this moment, the demon inside his soul continued to speak persuasively. In the future, as your chakra level increases, I will give you a brand new devil's law for each level you reach. What? Suddenly hearing the words of the demon in his body, Yu's eyes could not help but light up on his handsome little face. How could there be such a good thing? Don't be happy too soon. Sure enough, there is no such easy good thing in the world. The devil deep in Yu's soul immediately poured cold water on him. Similar to devil fruit, a person's body cannot accommodate two devil laws at the same time. So, this so-called devil's law won't be of much use if you give me more of it. Hearing this, Yu's smile immediately froze. So, at this point, we need to use some intermediaries. The demon deep within Yu's soul continued to guide him persuasively. For example, in this ninja world, there is a profession called puppeteer. Puppeteer. Hearing the demon's words, Yu furrowed his brows slightly, puzzled. Why? Can't you just directly give the devil's law to the target I choose? So now we move to next. Chapter 3, The Devil's Law. No, it's not possible, because I can only grant you the devil's law, or to something you possess. Facing Yu's question, the demon gently shook its head, and no matter whether it's weapons or other items, there's no way to fully unleash the power of the devil's law. So among the puppeteers, those who originally had their bodies modified into human puppets are the best choice. Human puppets. After silently listening to the demon's explanation, Yu began to ponder. In that case, it seems like I'll have to find a way to acquire this secret technique in the future. Puppetry technique. Yu knew it was a traditional ninja art unique to the hidden sand village in the Naruto world. It involved controlling puppets, corpses, and other objects through specific methods for combat, espionage, and other missions possessing great destructive power. Ninjas who used puppetry technique were known as puppeteers and held a high status in the hidden sand village. And human puppets, these were the pinnacle of puppetry technique, created by the first-generation puppeteer of the sand village, Wanziman Chikamatsu, and later developed into a powerful forbidden jutsu by the talented puppet sculptor, Sori of the Red Sand. The strength of human puppets lay in the fact that they could preserve the target's chakra and use all the target's ninja techniques, including even Kekkei Genkai, by converting the person's corpse into a puppet. Well, when it comes to puppeteers, Yu spoke after hearing the demon's words. In the original story, except for Chiyo and Sasori, who reached cage-level power, the rest of the puppeteers were all rather weak. Having heard the demon's words, Yu gradually calmed down and started thinking carefully. But human puppets, just the ability to fully preserve the target's chakra and all their ninja techniques, including Kekkei Genkai, is already incredibly powerful. If I can create human puppets with Mangekaiwo Sharingan, Wood Release, even Rinnegan, and Rin Sharingan, and combine their abilities with the Devil's Law, who in this world could I possibly fear? Thinking about this, Yu felt like he had just opened up an infinite path of possibilities. Amber-colored eyes glowed with an intense and unparalleled determination. It seems like you've already found your own path, the demon remarked, sensing Yu's newfound confidence. Its voice gradually faded away in Yu's mind, but not before leaving one last intimidating remark. Very well, from today onward, strive to survive in this world with all your might, because if you die, I will devour your soul completely. Eat my soul. Hearing the demon's parting threat, Yu's lips curled into a faint smile. If that day ever comes, then come, demon. Great, as long as I possess the devil's law. I have enough confidence to rise swiftly and become the strongest in this world, because the devil's law's abilities alone already surpass the majority of Kekkei Genkai in this world. Moreover, just like devil fruits, there was no limit to the development of the devil's law's abilities, as long as Yu worked hard and used his imagination and creativity as a transmigrator, reaching the level of Doflamingo from One Piece with the string fruit, freezing entire oceans with the ice fruit, devouring flames with the magma fruit, causing world-shaking earthquakes with the tremor fruit, and possessing numerous other powerful and otherworldly abilities. All these thoughts swirled in Yu's mind, just imagining the human puppets he could create in the future, armed with these incredibly overpowered Devil's Law abilities, filled Yu with excitement and anticipation. Yu, I knew you'd be hiding here, practicing your shuriken techniques again. At that moment, a voice suddenly rang out from the side, bringing Yu's thoughts back to reality. Turning his gaze towards the source of the voice, Yu saw a boy with a black hat on his head and slightly tanned skin. He was accompanied by two girls of similar age. They were approaching Yu from the distant grassland. Hiroshi, Mai, Momoka. Looking at the three kids who had just appeared, a faint smile appeared on Yu's fair face. It's you guys. They were Yu's companions at the Konoha orphanage, though they had been taken in by the orphanage earlier than Yu. I really don't get why you're working so hard on training every day. Seeing you silently gathering his shurikens and kunai on the ground, the boy with the black hat muttered a complaint. Do you really want to become a ninja and go die on the battlefield? The boy was Urashi. He was none other than the childhood companion and brother of the original Kabuto Yukashi in the Naruto storyline. The girl with long, light brown hair beside him was Mai, and the one with short, dark brown hair was Momoka. All three kids were roughly the same age as you and were his closest companions at the Konoha orphanage. Thud. Sure enough, even before Urashi could finish his not-so-friendly words, he received a fierce kick from Momoka sitting beside him. Fool, do you think you has no ninja talent like you? Momoka, who was scolding Urashi incessantly, continued, the director has been teaching you for so long, and you still haven't refined your chakra. Yet, you succeeded in less than a year. Damn it, Momoka, don't think I don't know. Groaning in pain and clutching his head while lying on the ground, Urashi retorted, you're only into you because he's good-looking. If you knew the truth, I'm actually a genius. As he spoke, Urashi, despite the pain, showed a confident grin, flashing his white teeth. Just a little effort, and I can surpass you. So now we move to next chapter 4 Healing Jutsu. Are you planning to die on the battlefield? No, I just want to do my best to survive in this world. Because the future of this world is something you can't even imagine. Watching the innocent playfulness of Urashi and Momoka in front of him, you had a calm smile on his face, but his gaze wandered to the distant Konoha sky. His fists clenched unconsciously. But now, with the power of the thread fruit, in the future, I'll find a way to obtain the secret technique for creating human puppets. By then, this world will be my stage. All right, Urashi, Momoka, you two stop fooling around. At this moment, Mai, who was beside them, looked up at the already late sky and interrupted Urashi and Momoka's playfulness. It's getting late. Let's go and meet up with the headmistress. Indeed, it's getting late. We should go back. Seeing Urashi and Momoka in front of him cease their playfulness, who had been secretly thinking about how to study the thread fruit's ability, packed up all the shurikens and kunais on the ground and left the crude training ground, just as the entire Konoha sky was being dyed by the setting sun. Urashi, Mai, and Momoka, the four of them, finally crossed the long grassland and arrived at the meeting place with Yukashi Nano, the headmistress of Konoha Orphanage. Because the ninja world was currently in the early stages of the Third Great Ninja War, the grasslands that Yu and his group had passed through were all marked by the ruthless ravages of war. Everywhere they looked, there were broken and burnt trees, or the ground that had been blown open by ninjutsu and explosive tags. If they were lucky, they could even pick up some shurikens and kunais left behind by ninja battles on the grass. Headmistress. After arriving at the meeting point they had agreed upon with the headmistress, Mai, who had sharp eyes, had already spotted a figure waiting not far away. Elder sister, having also seen the figure not far away, Urashi, who was walking beside Yu, rushed over with all his might. Momoka, Urashi, Mai, you've finally returned. Seeing Yu, Urashi, and Momoka appear, the gentle gaze of the figure in the distance finally fell on Yu, who was walking at the end. And you've also returned. Wearing a loose kimono with a black base and white edges, topped with a white headband, she looked somewhat like the nuns Yu had seen in churches in his previous life. She had light, ash blonde, slightly curly long hair, and she wore a pair of black-framed glasses. This woman, who always had a gentle smile on her face, was the headmistress of Konoha Orphanage, Yukashi Nano. A year ago, on the battlefield of the Battle of Kikayo Mountain, which had just erupted at the beginning of the Third Great Ninja War, it was she who brought Yu, who had just crossed over and was at a loss, to Konoha Orphanage and kindly took him in. This kind-hearted woman, who always had a gentle smile on her face, was not just seen as the headmistress of Konoha Orphanage by everyone. As another transmigrant from another world, Yu knew very well her other identity. She used to be a member of Root, an underground organization hidden in Konoha, an irreplaceable elite ninja in the intelligence division, skilled in medical ninjutsu. Once known as the Walking Shrine Maiden, she traveled between various countries in the ninja world to gather information for Konoha. Headmistress. Looking at the headmistress Yukashi Nano in front of him, Yu also greeted her lightly, but his gaze inexplicably flickered. To be honest, Yu had always been grateful to Yukashi Nano, who had brought him from the cruel battlefield to Konoha Orphanage and kindly taken him in. But due to the soul of an adult in his body, Yu didn't know how to express his gratitude affectionately. Hey, who is this guy? At this moment, Urashi, who was standing in front of Yu, suddenly noticed that it wasn't just the headmistress Yukashi Nano in front of them. Standing behind her was a small child with silver gray hair who appeared to be about the same age as them, maybe even younger. His forehead was bleeding profusely, and if he wasn't promptly treated with proper medical equipment, he probably wouldn't survive much longer. Is this the child from that village, the place where the battle took place? Gazing at the countless villages on the distant mountainside that were shrouded in ruthless warfare, Yukashi Nano's gaze showed a touch of sorrow. What should we do, sister? This guy is bleeding from his head. At this moment, Urashi, approaching the child with silver gray hair who was on the verge of death, exclaimed, "It looks like he won't last long. Should we take him with us?" "Don't say it like that, Urashi. His injuries are much lighter than yours were at the time." Ignoring Urashi's worried and frantic appearance, Yakashi Nano, with a gentle smile on her face, said, "Don't worry. Despite my appearance, I still know some medical ninjutsu." As she spoke, Yakashi Nano gently gathered chakra into her hands, forming a faint green chakra glow. "Let me do it, headmistress. This way, you've already consumed enough chakra on the way here." But at this moment, a small hand suddenly stopped Yakashi Nano's actions. Everyone was taken aback and turned to look. They saw that it was you who had stopped the headmistress Yakashi Nano from using medical ninjutsu. Dragon, snake, hare, tiger, monkey, boar. Before Yakashi Nano and the others could react, you, standing in front of them, formed 6 intricate hand seals quickly in his hands. Healing jutsu. By the time everyone had reacted, a ball of vibrant light green chakra, emitting a vigorous vitality, had already fully blossomed in Yu's hands. "What is this?" Urashi, Mai, and Momoka, the 3 little rascals, were completely stunned by Yu's actions. In just 1 year, staring blankly at the pale green chakra glow that Yu had successfully condensed into his hands, the headmistress Yakashi Nano couldn't hide her surprise. "You've already become so proficient in using healing jutsu." Well. Seeing Yu, who was clearly the same age as them, but after a year of training had not only successfully refined chakra but also could use medical ninjutsu, Urashi couldn't help but exclaim with jealousy, "You liar, you can already use ninjutsu." So thanks for listening this story. Please subscribe our channel and share your friends.